Hey guys, Yordle Man, the Waifu Collector, still the only fair human on Earth, and you know guys, we've gotta talk about Metal Gear Solid Delta. And super quick, if you somehow don't know, Metal Gear Solid Delta is a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. And so, I played Delta as soon as it came out, but after finishing it, more than anything, all it made me feel is that we have to have a discussion. There has to be a discussion. It's a truthful, possibly painful discussion. It'll certainly be painful for me, but this is a discussion that needs to happen. We've just got to have this chat, so let's just do it. And I won't really pussyfoot around it. I found this game disappointing because it's just Metal Gear Solid 3 again. And I get it, it's a remake, duh. But in truth, it's closer to a remaster than a remake. It's somewhere in between, but it's honestly closer to a remaster. It's a remakester. Because here's the thing, I know you're already outraged, but stick with me. Here's the thing, MGS Delta and OG MGS 3 feel like the same thing. They didn't really change the game. They made it look better visually, gave it a modern camera angle, and added some quality of life to menus and UI. But the way the game feels, the way the game moves, the way it plays, the layout of areas, the boss battles, all of it is untouched. All of it is the same. And I don't think it should have been. It's fine, I guess, but this could have been so much better. And I'm sure that this is what some people wanted, but I can feel the air around it. I can hear the way people talk about it, and they talk around their grievances with it, and there is disappointment on their breath. But they won't say it, because Metal Gear Solid 3 is a highly acclaimed game. It's the most beloved in the series, which naturally means you're not allowed to say anything bad about it. But listen guys, MGS 3 is a game from 2004. It's over 20 years old. 20 years is a long time in a human sense, let alone in a media sense, and a technological media at that. And I played the original as recently as last year, and it doesn't really hold up that well. It's not bad, it's decent at best, but no one who has experienced modern gaming, let alone peak modern gaming, and has modern sensibilities is gonna play MGS 3 and think, damn, this is amazing, and fall in love with Metal Gear. Not without prodding, prompting, and pressure from people who already love it. And those people who already love it likely played it much closer to when it was originally released. So, forgive me if I don't think that not changing much of anything from a 20-year-old game was the right course of action to make something really great. Is there some stuff that should have stayed? Of course, but there's a lot that should have changed. Like, let's just hone in on the bosses for a second as a quick example. Other than the fight with the end, you probably could have changed, updated, and improved every other boss fight. And that's really how it should have been for the whole game, not just the bosses, you know? Here's something that we absolutely need to keep, but here's a bunch of other stuff we can make better. But that's not the approach they went for. They went for what is basically a one-to-one. And this really reminds me of the Demon Souls remake. They did the exact same thing, where instead of improving the actual gameplay of a game from 2006, they instead made it a near one-to-one and updated the visuals. And you can feel it. You play the game and you can feel that you're playing an old game. The game logic, layout, and sensibilities feel decades old. It was true with the Demon Souls remake, and it's true for MGS Delta. Listen, all remakes are not made equally, and every remake does not need the exact same thing, but you have to realize what you nailed and if it's still nailed 20 years later. And you have to be honest about that so that you can make the best game. The unfortunate truth of the matter is that in 2025, MGS 3 doesn't nail a lot, and so just making it prettier isn't enough. This game should have gotten the Resident Evil remake treatment, the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment. It needed a reimagining, not just a new coat of paint and a camera angle. And nobody wants to hear this, but to be honest, the entire original trilogy of Metal Gear Solid games, those first 3 games, haven't aged very well. I'm sorry. They don't do a lot of holding up. I can at least agree with the masses that the third one is the best, at least of those 3, but it's still not much. 20 years later, it's all it can muster up to be okay. And the remake of 3 only bumps it up a bit. Whereas, honestly, in 2025, Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2? Well, they're kinda bad. I'm sorry. I know you're nostalgic, I know you're biased toward a thing that you've already liked, but truthfully, the games don't hold up. And it's okay, it happens sometimes. It happens to things I really enjoy as well. In fact, the original 2005 God of War. I played it again a few years ago, and I rated it slightly lower than OG MGS3. I gave it a 5 out of 10. MGS3 I think I gave like a 5.5, but yeah, classic God of War is just an okay game 20 years later, but I didn't feel like that before because it was better before. Now, in comparison to progress we've made, unsurprisingly, the 20-year-old game lags behind a bit. And I hope to the heavens that when classic God of War gets a remake, that they properly reimagine the game to truly make it better, rather than a shiny new touch-up and mild quality of life on a 20-year-old framework. Oh, also, by the way, have you tried to play the OG Pokemon games lately? Jesus Christ, we take so much for granted. Borderline unplayable. But yeah, anyway, Metal Gear Delta is kinda weird and disappointing. They couldn't even be bothered to get new voice acting, so we're stuck with a lot of questionable performances from actors who weren't even sure if they should take acting in a video game seriously 20 years ago. It's just unfortunate. I hope future remakes approach themselves more like a brand new game that is a respectful interpretation of an old game. That is the way to go. That is the mentality. These remakesters are okay at times. It makes sense, especially when the game's not all that old or it fundamentally holds up. But I think we have the old games. They exist. Just make them available and people can play them. So if you're gonna do a remake, then make it stand apart. Make a respectfully new experience that captures the essence of the original. That should be the goal. But we got what we got for now, so I guess that's advice for the future, I suppose. Alright though, I think I'm done. Oh, and I know I'm probably too late because you didn't make it this far in the video before you blew your lid, but save your comments about how MGS3 and all the Metal Gear still hold up and are the best games ever and you're an idiot, blah blah blah. I promise I know how you feel already. They pressed that opinion up on factory lines. I'm very familiar with it. No, but seriously, feel free to be normal and respectfully disagree with what I say if you just can't contain the opinion that I've already predicted. Or perhaps you've got something more interesting or nuanced to say, which I'd love to see. Leave it in the comments for me. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like and consider subscribing for more good gaming talk. Thanks for watching, and even if you forget everything I said in this video, just remember, I am Yordleman the Waifu Collector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I have never convinced anyone of anything ever. Goodbye.